The majority of people waste their late teens and early 20s trying to figure it out. Well, the best way to create your dream life is through simple and consistent action. Today, I'm going to share with you guys the 3 steps, proven steps in my life that I've used to create my dream life early while everyone else is still figuring it out. So, when I was 16 years old, I realized that I did not want what I thought I did. I was always super smart at math, and so naturally, everyone pushed me down an engineering track, and I thought I wanted to become an aerospace engineer. I realized I wanted to get out of where I live in small New Hampshire, so I traveled to France for a study abroad trip during my junior year of high school. And in Toulouse, France, where I was, it was the headquarters for a massive airplane company. And I met a lot of aerospace engineers just a few years older than me. And I realized that's not what I want to do. They spend their entire day in front of a computer, doing math, doing calculations, not really talking to other people. And so I realized, hey, I've thought I wanted to do this for 4 years now, and it's not what I want. What do I want? I think so many of us young people these days are drawn into things that we don't necessarily want, but we're told we want by society, by other people, that we believe, because other opinions are important, but our opinion is the most important. So the first step to creating your dream life is imagine it. Create what your dream life would actually be in your head and get clear about it. Don't make something up based on what other people have told you. You can bring that information into your decision-making process, but it cannot be the sole thing that is determining what you're working towards. Because when you do things for other people, you're going to end up less happy in the long run, right? So think about, what do I want my dream life to look like? In order to work towards something, you need to have an end goal in sight. And the way to work the most efficiently towards something is to make it something that you're really intrinsically motivated to do. Find something that you have real motivation to accomplish, and you're going to work harder at it than if it's something you don't genuinely want. We work harder for the things we want. It's a very simple concept. But I think sometimes we can become frustrated with ourselves for not putting our all into something that we genuinely don't want to do. So find what you want to do and go for it. All right. And so that's step 2. Take action. All right. Now you're going to say, Jack, these steps you're giving me are so simple. I know. I hope that you feel that. But look around in life and tell me, how many, if steps like this were that simple, then why are more people not doing it? Because what I've realized is a lot of our dreams have extremely high barriers to entry. Now, a barrier to entry is an economic term for things preventing people from joining a market. So, for example, in podcasting, you do better with a higher audience. So a barrier to entry is audience or good quality, but you need money to have good quality and good lighting and good camera setups. And so your dream might have a high barrier to entry. So if you've planned out what your dream is and you're ready to take action, you might feel discouraged because it takes a lot to get there. Let's say you want to create a clothing brand. That's a pretty simple and pretty common brand idea nowadays. And you realize, oh shoot, I either have to do print on demand, or I have to find a way to get inventory. I have to create good designs. I have to test products. I have to figure out what works and what doesn't work. That takes a lot of work. The only way that you're ever going to get stuff done is if you actually just do it. You actually just go for it, and you set a timeline for yourself, and you say, I'm going to do this for this long. So let me tell you guys a story. Listen up. I wanted to make money while I was in France, and I didn't have a work visa, so I started my first online business. I started a YouTube automation company, And I was pretty discouraged at first because I did not get the views that I wanted to get. Because you needed a certain level of quality to get there. But what a lot of people don't realize is, one, you could either just pay for that quality up front. Two, you have to test things in order to realize what sticks and to break those barriers of entry down into things that you can actually accomplish. And that only comes through repetition. So I told myself, all right, I'm going to post videos for the next 6 months. And if I haven't made money by then, I can let myself quit. But I'm going to do this for the next 6 months, 100% go for it. And so with whatever your dream is, if you're scared of failure, say, all right, well, let's be realistic with myself. I'll do this thing for the next 6 months or for the next year, and then I'll allow myself to quit. But I have to actually do the actionable steps to get me there before for a certain sustained period of time before I can stop. So those are the first 2 steps. Dream out or imagine your dream life and the end result. Think about what you have to do to get there, and then just take action toward that, because you can do all this thinking, but that's not moving the needle. Eventually you need to actually act and move the needle toward the life that you want. And so step 3 is refine. All right, now what does refining mean? That means taking the mistakes that you've made, because if you actually put an effort, you're going to make mistakes. So taking the mistakes that you've made on your way to your dream life and refining them and making them better and going towards perfection. I always like to have perfection as a final goal, because you're never going to get there. So you're always going to be working harder, and to get there, you're always going to get better on your way there. All right. So I want you to first imagine what is your dream life. And again, what is it in your head, in your heart? You can feel things. I'm going to digress a little bit, but I think you can often feel what's right inside your body. I recommend a little meditation, mindfulness practice, but I know what I want to do by just being present with myself, taking a deep breath, and feeling how emotions or actions feel inside my body, inside my heart. And so take the time to actually understand what it is that you want to do. All right. And this will get you farther to that dream. While everyone else is still just going with what society's told them to do, or what they thought they were supposed to do, you're finding what your actual passion is inside. And it can change. I've had mine change multiple times, and as I said, I'm only 18 years old. So I think a change in it is realistic, but you can't be concerned about perfection on your dream and what you're working towards, because if you are, you're always going to stay stuck in that place of action or of thinking, and you're never going to get to that place of action. Now this leads me back to step 2, which is action, right? And in action, you just need to go and refine. Step 3, figure out the mistakes that you made. So now my last thing that I want to talk about is a problem that a lot of people have during this entire process, which is the balance between perfectionism, right? So perfectionism is when you just want everything to be absolutely perfect right now. I think that's a good antidote to add to perfectionism, because as I mentioned beforehand, I want everything to be perfect. I want to strive for everything to be perfect, but I'm realistic enough to know that it's not going to be perfect right now. So finding the balance between perfectionism and action, because a lot of people will say, I want this to be perfect in this moment, right now, and work so hard on making it this one way that they never actually release it, or they spend so much time doing this one thing and trying to make it perfect that they don't just do a few more things. Because when you create volume of something, so if you spend like all your time on this one thing, trying to make it perfect and obsessing over it and stressing yourself out over it, you'll probably make a better product, and that can be good sometimes. But it only has its times, because when you start out, you need volume to learn what mistakes you need to refine, because you need to learn from your mistakes. Action is the best way to learn. Experience is the best way to learn. You can learn everything from a book or whatever, but you're never going to feel that as much as when you actually make the mistake yourself. Now, I know I got a little up and down and side to side on that conversation. Wasn't the most straightforward talk, but I just want you to remember those 3 steps, that you can take your time, or not, so that right now you can go towards making your dream come true as soon as today, or everyone else your age is still trying to figure it out. If you want to have a real talk with me one-on-one, where we talk about this stuff and I can help you find your dream life and create these steps for yourself, and we can talk about it, then just book a call with me down in the description. I also have a newsletter I'd love for you to check out. It'd mean the world for me if you subscribed. I'm really trying to make this my full-time thing. So I'd love that. Thank you guys. See you around. Stay grateful.